Okay, and now you get to ask me questions.
How did you feel about this?
I had a lot of fun.
Yeah?
Yes.
Did you like being the tech director?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
Did you, how did you feel about the creative side of everything? Like the way it all came out?
I didn't really pay too much attention on that, but I was so happy to see Norm run the camera.
Yeah?
Yes.
Why? Because he hadn't been doing that before?
Yeah, no.
That was his first time?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, camera work is interesting. I don't know if I like it. It's hard.
Well, now you appreciate what I did for you.
You've done a lot. Yeah. It's really fun to do the camera stuff, but it really sucks not being allowed to interact with anybody. The whole time I was just like, crap. Sorry, I think my mom's calling me. I'll call her back. It was really hard not to, so like I said, it was hard not doing the interaction stuff because I'm so used to having more of a free reign to do it. So kind of accepting that was really hard in the beginning, especially. And then I figured out, like in the beginning, I kept like being upset. Like I was like, I really wanted to do something, but then I was thinking in my head, there's no point. Just be a cameraman and enjoy that. And I was like, all right, fine. And I was like, this is your work, and this is what needs to be done to help Elias, to help everyone. So do it, and do it good. And then after I thought like that, I felt a lot more comfortable. I felt a lot more, I just did my job.
Very good.
Yeah.
I'm here to answer any and all of your questions about anything and everything because I have no agenda. I want to take advantage of the camera situation and let you take us wherever you want to take us, especially if you want to ask a bunch of questions about many different topics. With the understanding that you're on camera.
Yes, I do understand. So, what was your social security number? Well, I was wondering during the running of everything, how what there was to be done in the realm of leadership. Like, it seemed like everything was, all the roles were already filled.
Very good question. Leadership is not something you do on the day of action. Because leadership is about being ahead of the history. The day of action is when history is being created. The question is it created according to what you envisioned before that day or not? So leaders have little to do on the day of action. What about this commander and that supervisor? It's all about management, baby. Making sure that human resources on the day of action are not wasted doing the wrong things at the wrong time.
So, does that mean that if you were a perfect leader on the day of action,
You should be writing your vision for the day after? Because when everyone's are done with today's work, tomorrow, what vision will they realize for your history?
And you can't pre-plan. Can you pre-plan?
You have to plan ahead, because planning is all about you thinking about the future. So pre-plan doesn't make any sense. That's redundant.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. But I'm asking if you did your work right if you did the planning right for several days or for a long time in the future, that on the days of action, couldn't you have time to enjoy the event?
Not really, because you need to monitor what's going on and compare reality versus written vision. Because if there are differences, you need to let your managers know that, hey, you are not creating the history I saw.
Mm-hmm.
So give managers a head up to fix the situation before the day is over, because if you don't, then managers may fail to do their job and people create a different history than what you thought they were creating.
Does that mean the leader never stops working?
No one can stop doing what they love. If you don't love to lead, get out of leadership.
I don't know what that means.
It simply means that you can take a vacation, but you cannot stop being a leader, even during your vacation.
That makes sense. That makes a lot more sense.
Because what you do with your vacation may ruin your leadership reputation.
If it's not.
Presidents do that all the time.
Really?
They messed up their reputation during the vacation sometimes.
Because
of their behaviors.
Like
speaking on the mic without realizing the mic is on.
And then saying the wrong things.
Exactly.
Interesting. What will our future look like? Presuming once we end up on the global stage.
You don't need to leave. You can take up and enjoy the rest of your life as you see fit.
Why do you say that?
Because if you're making a lot of money, then you don't need to continue whatever you needed to continue. The reason why you cannot stop what you're doing is because of financial difficulties.
Mm-hmm.
But once you make $1 million a year, then you don't have to think about making it 10 times more every year necessarily.
That's true.
So it depends on what you want to do. But
basically, at that point, you have the pure freedom of choice to do whatever you want. I see.
Yeah.
I'm not asking that because of looking for an exit strategy. I was just curious.
But that's not how leaders are. Leaders are the ones who love to lead, and they just want to lead a bigger and bigger group.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why CEOs move from one small company to a bigger company to an even bigger company, because it's fun to them to take on a bigger challenge.
Mm-hmm. And make everything flow properly. I'm not sure what that is. Understood. What did you think when Elias said, "And this guy wants to do everything"?
Huh?
During the last thing,
I don't understand.
Elias.
Maybe I didn't see.
Oh, he was talking about our ideals, like me and Norman. And when he got to me, he said, "I wanted to do everything."
Well, most people agree, right?
That I want to do everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I do.
Yeah. And if you do everything, then you're not good at anything. And that is the point of his remark.
Even if he didn't see it that way.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Is I don't want to do everything. I want to do leadership professionally and entertainment as a hobby, and that's pretty much it.
Did you write anything that is leadership writing in the last 24 hours? $48?
No, I was
$72?
No, I was I'm thinking about this morning because I was writing this morning. Norman and I were writing, and we started like setting up a plan.
But that's work done by the group. I'm talking about you personally.
No, I haven't done any leadership in that.
Then it's hard to become professional if you don't practice doing what you love every day in high volume for regular feedback.
I keep getting stuck in the how. I don't know how to write as a leader.
You have direct texting access to me 24/7. You only need to ask when you're stuck.
Okay.
Why didn't you? Because you don't focus on leading. Because you're distracted. That's why. If you focus on leading, then you would ask yourself, why did I not produce leadership writing in the last 2 hours, 4 hours? And because you never ask yourself that, because you never monitor your leadership productivity. That's why you don't realize that you're not a leader. You're not even a leader in training. Because you don't focus on leadership. You focus on work.
That's what I've done all my life. I'm trying really hard to focus on not working, but every time I do anything, it's always work.
Right. And that's why you have to monitor yourself every hour. 1 hour that you do not write a vision for the future, for your group, for yourself, or for anyone else, is another hour you did not live the life of a leader.
If you were to describe it objectively, how would you say I've been living my life aside from this past 24 hours?
Objectively, I have to ask you, did you produce any leadership writing in the last 1 week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks? And then if the answer is no, then objectively you haven't been a leader during that period of time.
Well, I don't know how to identify what is leadership writing and what isn't. Every time
leadership writing is the writing that describes the future that's created by the people you lead.
So if I was to do leadership writing for Norman or for James or Mary, what's an example of a place where I would begin?
That's not a good example. A good example would be how you lead yourself. When was the last time that you wrote a vision for the near future of your life? 1 week later, 2 weeks later, that you want to create that history 2 weeks from now based on that vision. When was the last time you did something like that to your own life?
The only time I wrote anything that expressed a vision for the future was when we wrote the military rules. But
that's not your vision.
Okay.
That's mine. That is a perfect example of leadership writing. but it was not your leadership. It was my leadership. I created that vision, and you're creating that history according to my vision.
Yesterday, we made a decision that I shouldn't lead my business of the South.
Doesn't matter. That doesn't mean that you should not exercise self-leadership.
Is that not the same thing?
Thank you, Nick.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nick. Oh my God. He absolutely hates it. Dude,
I hate this shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit, what are y'all doing?
Alright.
Oh,
Let me get
continuing.
Everyone, y'all do what y'all doing.
Nice job.
Okay.
Yeah.
We keep on going.
Right now?
Oh, my bad.
Alright. Okay.
Okay.
So leading even when you... So what would be the next step then?
Start from scratch. Ask your question with context because my mind has been reset.
Okay. In terms of the next steps for our Haven group, where...
Wait.
Yeah.
Your original question was self-leadership.
Mhm.
We need to stick with that until you're satisfied
Okay.
with that topic.
This is hard to do with all them like sitting there. Right? I'm like trying to think, and I'm like all them are listening. Okay. So
If it makes you feel any better, I'm not really listening. I'm kind of just here sipping my Pepsi.
yeah, it's chill. So self-leadership. My question was, how do I begin creating my vision in a way that's beneficial for the people around me?
No. Self-leadership is about you and your life only.
Well, my ideals are around changing.
But for practicing, for learning purposes,
Mhm.
you should succeed in leading yourself first. If you cannot lead yourself, forget about other people. If you cannot help yourself, don't help other people. Because if you cannot help yourself,
Mhm.
you are a burden for other people.
But I feel like I've already helped myself.
We're talking about leadership.
Mhm.
If you cannot lead yourself,
Mhm.
don't lead other people.
But I do lead myself.
Do you have a proof that you led yourself? You rest my case. If you cannot defend your thesis, then
I'm not really comfortable doing this in front of a lot of people.
I wasn't even listening.